Season 1 of Tulsa King was a breath of fresh air in the mob drama landscape, striking a pleasant and engaging balance between developing genuinely dangerous threats and finding moments of charm and levity. Season 2 is on track to find that balance, possibly with an even more dangerous set of antagonists, though it hasn't yet cemented that tonal balance in the season's first half. Stallon's Manfredi is an engaging mobster with a good heart, surrounded by a cast of characters that bring out his moral best by finding more creative criminal means instead of the standard route of growing brutality. Some moments wink too much at the audience in an effort to force the breeziness, but Tulsa King is at its best when these moments come directly from the characters. As a whole, it's a strong start to a season that has all the material it needs for an excellent back half, though it takes some time to congeal. There's a lot of potential for high drama as Tulsa King Season 2 builds. Here's hoping it sticks the landing again. Tilting at Windmills, the fifth episode of Paramount Plus crime drama series Tulsa King Season 2, explores the difficulties Dwight the General Manfredi encounters as he attempts to grow his corporate empire by managing the recently leased-out wind farms. For the former mafia capo, Cal Thresher continues to be a headache, particularly when the former resorts to extreme means to exact revenge on the new general in town. Vince Antonacci suggests a truce because the men of Don Charles Chicky and Vernizzi are worried about how the family patriarch is handling the Tulsa situation. Dwight manages to be a charming companion in spite of everything going on. In the opening scene of Tilting at Windmills, Dwight Manfredi and Tina accompany his two grandkids to their new school. The former mafia boss is not impressed by the facilities and specializations of the educational school, which views basketball as a great team spirit builder and football as a violent sport. He advises his sister Joanne and daughter that the children should be taught self-defense and problem-solving techniques. Even though he hasn't changed at all, the two women effectively silence him by saying that the world has changed dramatically around him. To Dwight's dismay, they are impressed by the school and the calm, creative atmosphere. Dwight goes out for ice cream with Tyson, who is determined to exact revenge on Bill Bevilacqua for attempting to assassinate the former mafia capo after giving Tina and Joanne a hard time. His boss informs him that by killing Caputo and sending the hitman's corpse to his adversary as a message, he has taken enough revenge. The right-hand man is not persuaded until Dwight explains to him how the Colombo Mafia family's perseverance helped its members become famous. Then he heads out to ask Margaret Devereaux out on a date at the Franklin Ranch. When Armand Manny Truzzi doesn't turn in the envelope, Tyson clashes with him. Mitch the Stick Keller takes over as manager of Donnie Shore's Autocorral with Dwight's help. He is waiting on General Motors to provide him with the paperwork he needs to run the business. Meanwhile, his boss requests that the rock star appear in a commercial for the dealership's marketing. Joanna begins employment with Even Higher Plane. She finds that the shop is lacking in munchies after taking a stroll around and makes the decision to bake cookies to sell to marijuana customers as snacks. Vince begins to doubt his boss' capacity to manage their affairs after Chicky implies that he killed Pete the Rock Invernizzi, his father. The gang is down to almost nothing, so they are unable to fight Dwight. Vince proposes a ceasefire, pointing out that their companies will be impacted for as long as they are engaged in combat with the former Mafia Capo's soldiers. He suggests meeting with Dwight and Bill Bevilacqua in Atlanta to work out an amicable solution to the problem. Chicky thinks that in order to resolve the conflict, Tulsa's new general will make a financial offer to Kansas City's captain. Although Bevilacqua isn't overly thrilled about the offer, he doesn't say no indefinitely. After that, Chicky gives Dennis Goody Karangi a call to ask Dwight to the meeting. The consigliere of the Manfredis is not a man to trust, but he is smart enough to understand the significance of these sit-downs. He relays the message to his current master, making it clear that he believes the latter ought to pay the same attention. Jimmy the Creek and Lawrence Body Geigerman come at the wind farm they rented out with Dwight in the meanwhile. They get to know Milo and Halada, who are windmill maintenance professionals, but they are surprised with a bunch of visitors who are out to destroy the place. The fact that Dwight contracts out the wind farm instead of Cal Thresher is a major setback for him. When he shows up at the Fenario Ranch, the former Mafia capo unexpectedly runs into him and confronts the businessman for obstructing his path. He feels even more saddened by the general's growing bond with Margaret because he has long desired a date with her. When the ranch owner arrives brandishing a gun, their altercation comes to an end. Next, Thresher gives Bill Bevilacqua a call and suggests working together to manage Dwight. He informs the man from Kansas City that his businesses have been severely impacted by their shared enemy, but Bevilacqua has no interest in collaborating. He doesn't want to get involved in matters that don't interest him. Given that he thinks he can handle Dwight on his own, the gang leader has nothing to gain by assisting the businessman. After their conversation with Bevilacqua comes to a standstill, Thresher orders Jackie Ming's men to pummel Dwight's wind farm. Jackie doesn't like that the businessman is using his guys without asking him for permission, but he doesn't mind because the Chinese mobster didn't ask for permission to grow heroin on his property. When the men go to the wind farm, they attack Bodie, who tells Dwight what's going on. Along with Tyson, Mitch, Goody, and Bigfoot, the former Mafia capo arrives on the scene and takes care of the intruders. He goes on a date with Margaret after the altercation, but she isn't interested in talking about you-know-who. But Thresher has already requested that the eatery provide them an uncommon bottle of Perrier Jouet's Belle Epoque 2002. Taking advantage of the gesture, Dwight places an order for 2 bottles and requests that the waiter give another to a couple who are nearby.